Okay, today is Wednesday, July 16th, I believe. Let me double check. Yes, Wednesday, July 16th, and it's approximately 10:50 in the morning, and I am heading down to Jeff Adachi's office. For those of you who don't live in San Francisco and don't know who Jeff Adachi is, he is our public defender. All right, well, the reason I'm heading down there is to follow up with him and go over a recent opinion that he wrote for a newspaper for the passage of Laura's Law, which was recently passed by the Board of Supervisors here, which, I have been, obviously showing you the videos where, Laura's Law is a false choice if anybody would enforce medical law. I want to read this article to you, point out some specific things, and then see where I get on having a meeting with Mr. Adachi to, present not only my videos, but your request, since he's the public defender, to schedule a hearing in front of a judge to show all my videos and the criminal activity that I've been subjected to. Shall we see how that panacea works out, if it is, or whether it's a fallacy, or whether the words are meaningless, or, shall we judge by results? Anyway, let me read this. The title is, just so that you can see, this came out in the San Francisco Examiner on, let's see if I can find a date. I think it was 7/5/76, but I don't see a date on. No, that's the date of the printout. I don't believe I see a date on this, but anyway, let me go ahead and start. The title is Laura's Law Can Help Decriminalize Mental Illness. Well, I don't believe that mental illness is a crime. Okay, wait a minute. Very first sentence, first paragraph. Mental illness is not a crime. Fascinating. How does that very first sentence contradict the headline? Laura's Law can help decriminalize mental illness. If mental illness is not a crime, how can it help decriminalize it? Wonderful propaganda, wonderful mislead on the start. But let's continue with this article. Assisted outpatient treatment, also known as Laura's Law, can stop us treating it like one. Mental illness is not a crime. Assisted outpatient treatment, also known as Laura's Law, can stop us treating it like one. Oh, okay. Pure supposition, but okay. But the plan's success rides entirely on its proper implementation. Would that be like medical law and the enforcement of it? Without the implementation of enforcement, medical law doesn't mean anything. But it's wonderful propaganda. Okay, second paragraph. As a public defender, my office represents more than 3,500 people with serious mental illnesses each year. We are mandated under city and state law to defend the interests of our clients and advocate on their behalf. Interest of their clients and advocate on their behalf. Okay. I'm not necessarily swallowing it, but, it's up there on the chalkboard. I support assisted outpatient treatment as long as its implementation is done legally, responsibly, and thoughtfully. Let me see if I understand this right. He supports assisted outpatient treatment as long as its implementation is done legally, responsibly, and thoughtfully. Then I guess he'd also support medical law enforcement, for the law to be enforced. So that's something I can ask him about. Okay, next paragraph, fourth paragraph. Criminalization of people with organic brain diseases like schizophrenia is our national shame. Shame? Well, you'd have to watch all the rest of these videos to understand, what that word means in context. Recent studies show approximately 1 in 5 people behind bars suffer from severe mental illness. 20%. Interesting. Next paragraph. I have seen it daily in my 30 years of working in the justice system. Okay, that's a nice admission. People in desperate need of help shuffle from jail to prison to shelters to emergency rooms, and with each cycle they lose their tenuous hold on health care and housing. Okay, let me repeat that paragraph. That's another thing that should go on the chalkboard. I have seen it daily in my 30 years working in the justice system. People in desperate need of help shuffled from jail to prison to shelters to emergency rooms. And with each cycle, they lose their tenuous hold on health care and housing. 30 years. So I would, you know, it begs the question, none of these people have complained to Mr. Adachi about medical law not being enforced? And he's had 30 years of dealing with people like this. If these people have received 1/1000th of what I've received, they've never received any assistance at all. But, you know, it's just an interesting question that needs to be brought up. It's, you know, beautiful PR. 30 years of working in the justice system. Well, you know, I think Richard Pryor would tell you, you want to see justice? He'll take you to any jail and you'll see it's just us. But anyway, let's continue. The next paragraph. Laura's Law holds the potential to strengthen San Francisco's psychiatric health system while healing the lives of families struggling with mental challenges. Well, that's interesting because my very first question would be, what system? As a matter of fact, haven't the psychiatric beds been decreased at San Francisco General and throughout the entire system? Potential to strengthen. What about potential to mislead in application? Shall we check by results? Shall we verify? Okay. I recently had the opportunity, I'm reading again. I recently had the opportunity to learn firsthand about the practical aspects of Laura's Law from Judge Thomas Anderson, a former Nevada County public defender. Well, that's interesting. The reason that's interesting is if you watch the videos that I have on the city attorney and him suing Nevada for patient dumping, you know, how is my case any different? And of course, you've seen the treatment I've gotten from the city attorney and no response to my questions, but you know, that's a different matter. We'll fry those fish later. Next paragraph. Nevada County remains the only county in the state that has implemented the plan. Judge Anderson, who was placed in charge of the county's assisted outpatient treatment court in 2008, reports that more than 75% of their cases, the intervention of their outreach team resulted in a person receiving treatment. Resulted in a person in crisis receiving treatment. More importantly, the outreach provided that person with the stability to remain free of forced commitment in the hospital or jail. Okay, let me read those two last sentences again. They're very important. Reports that more than 75% of the cases, the intervention of their outreach team provided a person in crisis receiving treatment. Okay, my question is, define treatment. Here in San Francisco, if they see you and give you a dead-end referral, that is classified as treatment. Here in San Francisco, if you go in and ask for help and they give you a piece of paper with a bunch of places to go to that all fail, that is treatment. That is their definition, just so that you begin to understand the games. Now, last sentence. Most importantly, this outreach provided that person with the stability to remain free of forced commitment in the hospital or jail. Was it an opportunity? Let's judge by results whether that was an opportunity that person took, or whether very conveniently this line says that it provided the person with the stability to remain free of forced commitment. This outreach provided. Yeah, it provided them with an option. It doesn't necessarily mean that was the result. Yes, English. Okay, next paragraph. As a result, the incarceration rate of mentally ill people in Nevada County was reduced by 65%. This law also resulted in fewer criminal cases filed against the mentally ill in favor of civil proceedings and outcomes that took the patients out of the criminal justice system. Whoa. Let me read that last sentence. This law also resulted in fewer criminal cases against the mentally ill. Wow. First, being mentally ill is not a crime, but when you're thrown into the reg system, now they can say that, it's prevented less criminal cases against them and in favor of civil proceedings and outcomes that took patients out of the criminal justice system. Well, shouldn't they have been out of it receiving help and care, if there was any medical law enforcement? It's a beautiful spin. Next paragraph. Listen to this. This is even better. The statistics are impressive. However, Laura's Law is not a panacea for proper mental health care or the cure for homelessness. According to Judge Anderson, it likely only serves a small population of those who are most severely mentally ill. In Nevada County, which has a population of 90,000, only 37 people were referred to assisted outpatient treatment in the first 2 years following the implementation of Laura's Law. I'm sorry, out of 90,000 people, only 37 were referred. Wow. And mind you, the statistics are impressive. So you mean to tell me, had those 37 people had medical law enforcement, that wouldn't have saved the county even more? Well, why? We've got Laura's Law now. We've got that revenue stream. We've got people hooked on, basically defying everybody else's rights. But, hey, what does it matter? Okay, currently more than 23,000 San Franciscos receive mental health treatment through the city's Department of Public Health. Oh, here we go again. Define treatment. What does that mean? All right. Here we go. Let's go to the next one. If the percentages of clients served in Nevada County hold true for San Francisco, only 1% of this group will be referred to treatment under Laura's Law each year. I believe it is absolutely necessary to form a strong oversight committee to ensure Laura's Law is not abused and that only cases that meet the legal criteria are allowed. Well, let's see if this committee, this oversight committee, will get me to a judge so that I can show him the videos I have in regard to, the law being broken, medical law, and there being no enforcement. The end runaround, the reason that this Laura's Law is so easily passed in front of people because people don't understand, that medical law is not being enforced. Oh, it's a beautiful Machiavellian game. All right, so once again, let's not forget, 37 people. How is that statistically viable? All right, next paragraph. Supervisor Mark Farrell, who introduced the Laura's Law legislation, has committed to work with my office and other agencies to enact additional legislation to ensure fair and responsible implementation of the law. All right, well, as you know, I'm going to go to the supervisor's office with, the fact that Laura's Law has been passed and, continue to ask for the requested hearings to show my videos, to show exactly, the law-breaking activity that I've been subjected to and see what the spin will be then. Next paragraph. With these protections, and if all participating agencies work together through the court process, we can begin making real change by addressing citizens' mental health needs before a crisis occurs. Wow. I hope you've watched my videos to see just how much, help I've received, while in crisis, etc., etc. We've experienced this success through our city's behavioral health court. Well, there's nothing like patting your own nest. The collaborative court has become a national model in stabilizing the lives of people with mental illness through coordinated treatment and services coupled with court supervision. Well, I can't wait to get court supervision to have the Department of Public Health arrested. So let's see what we get. Next paragraph. The criminal justice system has been described as society's emergency room, but severe psychiatric disorders require a commitment to ongoing care. We're committed. We're committed to the illusion. We're committed to Laura's Law and, the deception that this all plays. And we're also committed to making sure that medical law is not enforced. Watch, folks. Laura's Law holds the promise of decriminalizing mental illness, but only if we do it right. Would there be a need for Laura's Law if medical law was enforced? It's an interesting question. So what does that mean if we do it right? Now, if I go and I show them that medical law hasn't been enforced, and I've been seeking treatment, will they do it right and, arrest the guilty people, hold them accountable, present me in front of a judge, get this fixed for everyone? Let's continue to read. The lives of the vulnerable San Franciscans depend on it. Well, I guess now you know what's at stake. All right, so let's see what we get from Mr. Adachi, at, where his operation is. Now, if I remember correctly, I looked up his address, and if I, like I said, remember correctly, I believe it was 555 7th Street. I'm on the 500 block of 7th Street. The Office of the Public Defender. Please open the door on your left. Done. All right. remains open. Office of Public Defender, second floor. All righty. Second floor. Let's see what happens when, you know, the metal hits the pedal. Or the pedal hits the metal. Come on, guys. You know, English isn't my first language.